Hi, I'm Charlie Horner from SBC, and today I'm joined by Daniel Clark, the Group Commercial Director at EveryMatrix. Daniel, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for coming.
And you're sort of 6 months into your role here at EveryMatrix. Could you just tell us about what your responsibilities are?
Absolutely, yeah. What a whirlwind 6 months it's been. It's been a really exciting start as we've embarked on this new chapter of growth. EveryMatrix, obviously coming off the back of the company's best year in 2024. And my role really is to enable our sales team to go out and deliver and make sure that all the business units that we have across the business are aligned to the strategic direction that we want to head, and ultimately delivering new business and taking the group to that next level of growth.
Nice, an exciting role for sure.
Absolutely.
What experience do you bring into this role, and sort of how have those experiences in the sector sort of shaped how you perceive the industry today?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate to work for some great businesses, both on the B2B and B2C sides over the years. So I was at Junior Sports for 5 years and went through a similar growth journey there, where we took the business public at the time, and with that came a lot of new structure and new processes. And then spent some time at Bally's Interactive to really get to understand what it takes to service an operator and what their requirements are as a growing digital business. And so from my perspective, being able to install a lot of those processes within the new function, and just give the team a little bit more guidance is really what I'm looking to establish here. And also, really go into that platform, that end-to-end sale piece, which is something that was a new string that I've added to my bow now. My roles previously have always been sportsbook services, so it's been great to see that side of the business, casino, crash games, and really gain that experience and learn from our teams here at EveryMatrix as well.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you have got this new structure at EveryMatrix,
Yeah.
and you join as this new global sales structure has sort of come into play.
Yeah.
Tell us about this new structure and how it's sort of been put in place to elevate EveryMatrix to sort of new heights.
Yeah, so the business has obviously, as everyone is aware, has grown exponentially over the past 4 to 5 years, and the organic growth has meant that the business units that have formed through our product verticals has meant that each business unit has had its own commercial endeavours and their own P&Ls, which really allows us to offer our customers a modular experience. However, there is no centralised team focusing purely on that platform sale, and it's quite clear looking at the market and that next phase of growth in that phase is going to come from the platform, the strategic deals that we want to try and be a part of, and therefore we made the decision to have the best in breed of experience from the existing sales team that we have across the EveryMatrix group, and we've compiled a team now that we feel can really take us into that direction. So each sales director will be focusing on a specific market and be accountable for delivering business with tier one operators in their respective markets.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned there that it's all about getting those big tier one sort of big ticket deals. Tell us about sort of this new approach that you're taking, because it's different to how it's sort of been in the past, and maybe about the strategy. What does it take to get one of these big deals over the line?
I guess it depends on the market. Obviously, there are really different requirements depending on the market, and we've seen that through our growth and the businesses that we have partnered with. Obviously, we're extremely fortunate to work with the Hungarian State Lottery, which, being part of that WLA membership, again, that has its own challenges and that we've been able to overcome. But from a strategic standpoint, like I say, the cadence of the tier one deals is much lower and the volume is much lower. So you have to be really, really, I guess, efficient in the way that you do approach these targeted customers. And from our standpoint, we want to ensure that we have the best team at hand to go out and deliver. And, from our perspective, we see that we've got a fantastic track record of growing with operators, and that comes from a variety of different aspects. So relationships, establishing good relationships early on within the partnership, but also listening to our customers, making sure that we're continuing to push innovation so we can grow on the same trajectory as they wish to grow. So yeah, we feel like we're in a really strong position to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And what sets EveryMatrix's sort of turnkey solutions apart from the crowd? Because getting these tier one operators, so it must be a crowded marketplace. There's a lot of competition for those places. So what sets you apart from the crowd?
Very much so. I think, as the further up the food chain you go with the operators, the more agile you have to be, and our agility is obviously very, very important here. We are able to deliver a pure modular sportsbook should we need to. If operators have their own PAM, for example, we're able to cater for that. If they want a full end-to-end solution, again, we've got the ability to do that. But I would say the stability of our platform is second to none, and I think the tier one operators, that is absolutely number one priority for them, is the stability, the reliability of the product, and we have that in abundance. So we're extremely fortunate there.
Yeah, and how do you position that in the market and sort of reinforce that message on a strategic level? Because you're trying to raise the profile of these solutions. So how do you approach that?
I think we have to be a little bit more bespoke and tailored in our approach rather than coming across as generic. And I think we have to identify the key markets that are going to deliver that growth for us as a business in that next phase. Latin America is a market we've not even really dipped our toe in just yet. And we're extremely excited about that market, and we want to make sure that we do that in the right way. So that is an example of a market where we've not rushed in. We've taken our time, we've assessed the different territories within that market that we can attack, and we'll do that strategically, making sure that we can offer a localized platform for the prospective partners within each market, and listening to operators that we're engaging with on a daily basis, and by having an experienced centralized team who will be quickly be able to translate those requirements into actions is going to be equally as important for it to set us apart from, as you say, a very competitive market.
And earlier you mentioned that each member of this new team is responsible for different markets. What markets will you be responsible for, and how are you approaching those specific markets?
So the team that I work and I'm responsible for, obviously looking at each market individually. I'm overseeing the entire global commercial endeavours that we have here at EveryMatrix. And the memberships that we have at the moment within the team are effectively anything but Latin America and Asia at the moment. And that is a conscious decision from the business that we've made so far, as I say, to not go into those markets without having the local expertise there. We recently brought Mark Schmidt on board for our Africa endeavours, and it's proven to be a fantastic decision, with the recent acquisition of FSB as well, to help him from a product standpoint. So the next hire is obviously going to be really, really important for us in those respective markets as we continue to expand the team.
Yeah, and I guess looking at Latin America, then, is that a key target market for EveryMatrix going forward into the rest of 2025 and beyond?
Absolutely, yeah. It seems very cliche within our industry. LATAM has obviously been a hotbed for a while, and with Brazil regulating now, it's become even more saturated and more competitive, I would say. But we're not just looking at Brazil, we're looking at other key markets within Latin America as well that we can capitalize on. We're already in Peru with Apuestas Total. So, we're looking to build on that momentum, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we've got the right commercial team and the localized, members of the team that can help us support the long-term strategic goals there.
Sure. And finally, then, just looking ahead, what do you expect to see from the commercial team over the next sort of 18 to 36 months, let's say? And what targets have you set for the team?
We've been very aggressive in our targets. I won't disclose exact numbers, obviously, for obvious reasons, but you've seen the percentages of the year-on-year growth, over 40% year-on-year growth, and I don't think we want to slow down anytime soon. So we've got our 3 to 5 year objectives. We know where we want to be. Now it's a case of actually going, okay, how are we going to get there? And the team are very clear on the goals and what we need to do to achieve those. And it is about delivering more tier one premium customers that we can service, because we feel that is ultimately where the revenue is longer term for us. There are more reliable partnerships, and so we're excited to try and start competing here in these markets and deliver the expectations that we have here.
Excellent. Well, it's certainly an exciting time ahead. Daniel, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Charlie.
Cheers.
Cheers.